With EC Details, the United States of America said that the whole nation is in a drought. Saw it online, big red map, in a drought. If you want to still detail your car or still have to run a business, keep watching. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to rinseless wash using two methods that I've learned in my detail business. The reason I'm going to show you two methods is because some of you getting into rinseless wash are real leery about introducing a dirty bucket of stuff to the stuff, using 3 buckets, 4 buckets, 30 rinses, things of that nature. When you are in a drought, when you no longer have water available to you, when you no longer can wash your car, this is the safest, funnest, easiest way to continue to make money or continue to enjoy the hobby. So let's get started. How to rinseless wash two different ways. I have been rinseless washing for over 7+ years. I have been here from the beginning of when Ivan Lacroy started his journey, and I watched him, man. I learned from him. Actually, put his picture here, the GOAT. I call him the GOAT. He don't like to be called names because you were like that, but you're the GOAT, Ivan. Greatest of all time. And what I learned from him was how to rinseless wash. And I'm talking about dirty cars, non-dirty cars, things of that nature. But there's also another character in this story that we gotta give flowers to, Gary Dean. So we have two wash medias here, a sponge, towels. Which one's right? I'm gonna walk you through how to do both. Let's talk about rinseless wash and an easy overview of the science. If I have dirt, this is dirt, it's on the surface of the car. If I have a solution with, if I have water with the rinseless wash solution in it, it creates a barrier around the dirt. Not a protective barrier, it's more of a cushion, right? It encapsulates the whole dirt particle. So when I take my wash media and I push or I wipe, it gets encapsulated. It makes it for an easier, safer solution. It makes it so it doesn't scratch your car because there's a cushion between the dirt particle, the water, the wash media, right? Let's talk about the sponge. The sponge here, I give credit to Ivan Lacroy because this is the first time I saw it was because of him. These slits are created to take in dirt. When you wipe, dirt comes in. You take your wash, you take your little grit guard, you push it in, hit the grit guard, and that, with the rinseless wash solution, pulls down the dirt into the grit guard at the bottom of the grit guard, making this a very safe wash experience. Then you have the Gary Dean method, which stack of towels. You use a stack of towels, you put it in the rinseless wash solution, and this is the only time you would use 2 buckets, in my opinion. Again, if you use 2 buckets, good on you for wasting water. That's between you and God, nothing wrong with it, do whatever you want. I have all my towels in my wash media, boom, in my solution. I take a sprayer, spray the car. Now the cool thing about the towel, and this is the 2 different ways of rinseless washing, is you have 1, 2 sides. But when you cut these in quadrants, you now have 2 sides, 4 sides. Now you have 8 sides, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, flip it over, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get the gist. When you spray solution on the panel, you take this out of the bucket, you put it in fours, you keep it a little damp, you wipe. Now, if this does get a little dry, you respray rinseless wash on here, and then you keep this going. You never reintroduce this into the bucket. You put it in another bucket that you'll wash later. So that's the Gary Dean method. Other things you need if you're gonna follow along for this video is you'll need a sponge and some towels because we're gonna go over both methods. Get your favorite rinseless wash of choice. Get a detail spray because we're gonna show you how to use it with and without. Now again, you don't need a detail spray. If your rinseless wash is dry as cracker juice, you will. But typically you could take the same solution and you could dilute it 120:1, 64:1, and get you that more slicker, lubricious kind of experience. And then you'll need a sprayer of your choice. It could be a cheap one, does not have to be expensive, right? I used to run 2 kegs back to back. Now you can use this, you can use IK spray, you can use your Press-All bottle, you can use IK spray, it doesn't matter. Use whatever spray bottle you have. I like pump sprays more because they put more solution onto the panel. And then you need a couple drying towels. Now that while we're talking, I'm gonna let this video play here. This is my car in its current condition. I would say scale of 1 to 10, it's a solid 7 dirty. It's white. So when you look at the dirt particles, you can see how thick dirt is on the roof, the side, the back, and there's different substrates. There's a lot of dirt on here. Typically, if I were to do this, I would probably do a hybrid wash, not because rinseless washing is safe, but because there's a lot of dirt in the cracks in the bottom. If this was dirtier, meaning winter time, I would use Prelidio, an acidic pre-wash from Lava Cosmetica, that's rinseless wash, that you could use your rinseless wash to rinse off, or I would use Citrus from Yum or Garage Therapy or Mild Deep, depending on what you like. I'll show you this surface here where the dirt's at. You would just free spray your rinseless onto that surface, and you can see it pulling down dirt. You can see it doing this thing. That's the part you want from a great rinseless wash. It is that ability to encapsulate, but also break down dirt with this emulsify. So you take your wash media, again, slightly dripping. Now, the art of this is you will come in, right? And you would put it flat, but roll your towel over. So you take some of that solution off. Now I'll take my towel, turn it around. I'll roll it over, and I will take the corners of it, roll it over. Now you can see the dirt on this surface here. So then the goal would be to flip it on its other side and start the process again. And then come down, and remember the goal here is not to rub. The goal here is to roll, because you want the solution to do most of the work. And then you'll come up, same thing, you can see all that dirt on the towel. Now, I have two sides to this. I'm gonna flip my towel over. My towel feels a little dry now, and this is just for the brevity of teaching you. I would take my solution, my sprayer, and I'll just spray some in here and come in and come down and finish all that. And you can see that's the Gary Dean method. Now at this point in time, this rinseless wash is slick enough, I don't need a drying aid. I'll just dry. So this is what I would consider one of the dirtiest panels on the car. And the same method applies. One towel is enough to do like 2 doors. When it gets dirty like this, again, take your solution and then you're gonna get it wet and let that sit. It's gonna start doing its job. You can see it pulling the dirt down. I'll grab my clean side of my towel. And you can see, now I have this side here of the towel that I could use. Come down and then grab that, grab that. There you go. Look at that. So that would never see the bucket again. Now I know this is clean. I can go in and dry the surface. And I want to show you the difference here so you can see it one side to the other. If you look at this side here, that's the side we just did. This is the side with all the dirt. So you can see how good that cleaned it and left a nice, clean, slick surface. And that is the difference on both panels. So you can see what I'm talking about. That is the Gary Dean method unlocked. When your towel starts to look like this, and you can see every side of the towel that we use, you would take this towel, either throw it in a bucket with Rinseless in it, and that's not the same bucket you're using to wash your car, or you put in another bucket with like microfiber wash, let the dirt break up, then wash the towels. Never introduce this back in a bucket. Some pros and cons about this method, right? Pros is it'll let you feel the thought of feeling safer. I believe in the science, so I already think this is one of the safest wash methods. But if you're one of those that are just getting to rinseless wash and you don't trust it, this would be that pop your cherry moment. Use this, wipe, do the roll, make sure you have enough lubriciousness on the surface by pre-spraying more, never put the dirt back in, and that'll help your mind be like, okay, it's working. And then when you graduate from that and you start trusting the science, then we'll go into the sponge. So for me, you'll use a lot more laundry, you'll have to wash a lot more towels, and if you have a shop full time where you're doing this, the next step I'm gonna teach you is, for me, is a lot more effective, easier, and more cost-effective long-term. The sponge, I call this the Ivan Lacroy method. This one for me is efficiency. Key here is I only have one wash media, don't have to do laundry every 5 minutes, and I could use this sponge over and over again and don't have to worry about doing a deep clean, things of that nature. There are some times when you're washing a car, and depending on the rinseless wash you're using, so if it has more polymers, it does a good job cleaning, it does a good job pulling the dirt down of the bucket, but it'll stain your sponge because of its surfactants. There's times where it doesn't. Depends on what rinseless wash you're using. It doesn't make it good or bad. Use what you like, bro. I'm in a point in my life where use whatever the freak you want. So put the sponge in the solution. The cool thing about this is caution. You don't have to be so cautious. You don't have to worry about pressure points because the sponge removes a lot of the pressure points. I would use the same method of pre-spraying the whole panel. And with the sponge, since I'm gonna be working a lot quicker, I would actually do the whole side of the car. See, that's one benefit. The sponge is a lot faster, no stress. I grab my sponge on the verge of drip drip. I come in and it's the same vibe. Now, you could then take your sponge, hit the grit guard, come in, not have to stress about it, hit the bottoms. And you can see the dirt right there. You just put in the grit guard. And the dirt goes away. Now this is great. Now I could move on to the next surface here and do that. So this is rinsing and wash with one wash media. You see how quick that is. I could then go in and dry the car. And then I'm good to go. That's it. Now I could do more of the surface of the car, less time, not having to worry about the wash media, not have to worry about flipping sides and this quick flip versus a non-flip. And I just let that do work. We'll show you on the hood too, again, to get the dirty parts, but yep. And I'm just gonna flip it over once to get the lowers, and I didn't even have to go back to my bucket. I didn't have to turn it, and it's good to go. And you can see, here's where we're at. You can see this whole surface here. You can see how it's dirty. Again, take my solution and let it start breaking up the gunk. And we'll show you a side by side here. This is not a lot of pressure. I think this is like 30 pounds of pressure coming out of this thing, the sponge. You can see the dirt. I could just dry. There you go. And I'll show you the rest of the hood of the car so you can see what it looks like from the dirt to where we did the rinseless wash. No worrying about towels, no worrying about none of that. Good to go. I want to thank you all for watching. You saw the video, you saw how we ended this. I showed you two different wash ways. We went with Gary Dean. I call it the entry. If you are getting into rinseless wash now, probably the easiest way to ease you into it without being thrown up the side all over you. The second way is the Ivan Lacroy method. Sponge, a drying towel, solution, a grit guard. That's all you need, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. Rinseless wash was meant to be easy, meant to be accessible, meant to be used during droughts, during times where water cannot be used a lot, or even just to replace the whole soap process of the contact wash altogether. That is what rinseless wash is for. What it's not for is for muddy cars. You're still gonna have to introduce a lot of water, or if you have a lot of road film, then again, I'll use Polydeo, I'll use Polydeo Acidic, and that coupled with any rinseless wash does God's work. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you enjoyed this kind of video. And if you're wondering what Gary Dean method is and the Ivan Lacroy method, I made a video here showing you more in depth, a side by side. Hit the like and subscribe, we're out.